All right, we're back. We're going to go now say a very good morning here to the Honorable Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs and Aboriginal Affairs, the member for Labrador West, Nick McGrath. Good morning.
Good morning, Randy. How are you doing, sir?
Not bad, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good.
Just wanted to call you. I'm getting my feet back on the ground here now, and as you know, last week I had all of the cabinet. I was fortunate to host the cabinet and the premier in Labrador West, and just wanted to talk about how well it went. I think it's always very important that we get ministers, and certainly the premier, when you can get them into your district. So just wanted to let my residents know, my constituents know how well everything went. Certainly. We had a meet and greet on the Wednesday night, and it was open to the public. There was probably a couple of hundred people there between when we arrived and we left. A great meet and greet, and that was an opportunity for the general public to rub the shoulders with the ministers, talk with the premier, and got a very, very positive feedback on that. And it also one of the highlights, I guess, was that all of the ministers got to see the Iron Ore Company of Canada, of course, Rio Tinto, gave us a tour of the mine, so they get to physically see how the mining industry works. You certainly understand that. You've been there. And then we went to Churchill Falls and did a tour of the Churchill Falls project. So just amazing to be able to see it. And then when you're sitting down, you've been there, you know how it works, you understand the demographics of it. So I'm really, really pleased with how that went. Certainly there were a couple of announcements in Labrador West also that was announced. We had an announcement for more medical equipment going into the old hospital, as well as another $25.7 million being spent on the new medical facility there now. And the minister had an opportunity to tour the new hospital. Very, very pleased with the progress that's making. It's great to see that big building up on the hill there now. Mm-hmm. And moving forward, I must say it's ahead of schedule right now, and we're hoping it's going to stay that way.
One of your colleagues made a pretty interesting comment, Nick, the other day, in reference to, well, first of all, from the Liberal benches, issues surrounding Aboriginal justice,
yes,
which they feel is Aboriginals are getting too soft a ride, and that victims are being hard done by as a result. But even a more interesting comment of late came over Muskrat Falls, when a colleague of yours referred to people talking about the spirituality and the history and the significance of the Grand River, when he referred to some of this spirituality stuff as nothing more than mumbo jumbo.
Well,
has anybody approached you as the Minister for Aboriginal Affairs and said, set this guy straight?
Most definitely. Let's talk about the member from the Torngats first and the justice system. And as you know, of course, there's guidelines. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't get into heavy details, but lawyers and judges look at the criteria of how they can best serve the general public. And I think that's followed as close to the line as it possibly can, and will continue. Maybe we need to look at changing some guidelines. So I would certainly defer that one to the Minister of Justice, and I'm sure he's certainly aware of it because it has been in the news. And first and foremost, we're there to protect the people, whether they're Aboriginal or settlers. We want to make sure everybody is treated fairly and given the best comforts in life that can possibly be given to them. Mm-hmm. As for the member from Lake Melville with the comments that he made, I had a fairly busy day. I was taken back. Certainly, government doesn't have that position whatsoever. We were keeping ourselves away from those comments that he made. I spoke with the member myself, and I told him how disappointed I was in the comments that he made, and I've also spoken with all of the Aboriginal leaders, or tried to speak with them. I haven't been able to get hold to President Shepherd or Michel Joe. They're both out of the province, but I've left a couple of messages with them. I've spoken with all of the other Aboriginal leaders and certainly reiterated to them exactly where this government stands and how our job is to build bridges, not burn them. Mm-hmm. Government wants to have a strong relationship with all of the Aboriginals in our province. We feel it's very, very important that we work together. Everybody is entitled to their own spiritual beliefs and how we practice our beliefs. No one should interfere with that. And if there's things built into agreements, and we will do our best. As this government actually changed with Nalcor, we dictated the layout of the lower Muskrat in order to accommodate some of the spiritual claims there and the land claims for the Innu. And
so has he publicly apologized for the mumbo jumbo remark?
Randy, I certainly can't. I don't have the jurisdiction to ask him to publicly apologize. On your show here now, I certainly apologize on behalf of government for that comment as the Aboriginal minister. And I'm certainly hoping that Mr. Russell will do the same because that is not the position of government at all.
All right. Well, sir, it is good to speak with you always. Any final thought before we wrap up?
Just again to let the province know what's happening in Labrador West. To me, it was a pleasure to get the cabinet in there, let them see it, see the progress that's happening. As you know, it's forecasted there's going to be $16 billion over the next few years invested in Labrador West, and that's a plus for this whole province.
It is good to talk with you always. Thanks, Nick.
Okay, Randy. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Nick McGrath, he is the Honorable Member of Intergovernmental Affairs and Aboriginal Affairs, responsible for the voluntary nonprofit sector. His busy job. Well, I had to ask him about those other couple of things. Yeah, fair enough.